Go download my free legato course right now and learn to play fast in the fastest way possible. Aren't you making any progress? Well, this could be just it. Just the information you need to make massive progress. It's a whole concept that nobody uses, at least not consciously. I was so lucky that I used it, but unconsciously. I didn't know what I was doing. And some of you might be engaging in the same behavior, but it's one of the fundamental, biggest reasons why people develop incredible skills in anything they take on. And it is the fact, what is it? It's the secret, right? But it is the fact that once you start focusing on the source of why something happens instead of the superficial cause, then you get results suddenly. And what is that in guitar playing? It's this one, right? Once you start focusing on being as inspired as you can possibly be, as informed as you can possibly be, getting enough ideas in there, enough strategies and methods of how to get more results faster, and ideas of how to make something that seemed complex very simple. And just keeping that inspiration flowing as much as possible, because that's what make you not only practice. A lot of people practices, but they're not really practicing. They're just dabbling with stuff, right? You get focused and passionate and on it, right? And concentrated when you practice. That's what happens when you're inspired and you get really committed, right? But you have to work with this. Just think about it. We can work with this. We can start here in front of us. What is in front of us? Well, what we need to do. Okay, so why are people super good at playing guitar? Because they practiced a lot. Duh, right? Idiotic, sorry to be so intense about it, but of course that is the case. But it's not the reason, for freak's sake, because why are they practicing a lot, right? Why is that happening? Nobody asks ourselves because they're passionate about it, because, well, then I should practice a lot. That's the first thing that happens. I really should practice more. Then secondly, okay, so why does people practice more? Because they're passionate. I really should be more passionate. And it just becomes a new stupid thing we have to, a new thing we should do. Like we didn't have enough of those already. You shouldn't eat so much sugar. You should exercise more. You should eat more salad. You shouldn't go to McDonald's that much. You shouldn't watch so much TV. And you should practice more, right? It just becomes another thing you should do. Another burden on your shoulders, right? But don't give up until you find the cause. So why is he so passionate? Well, why is he so passionate? Because he's inspired. He went to a concert and he just saw a thing. I remember myself, I was playing guitar at the time, but it was the kind of campfire chords and little classical pieces. I went to a guy every week, right? Started in high school. Now, I remember going to a concert with some no-name local band, but they were really good. They were playing, cover songs of really cool songs. And there was this singer. And then he just went from singing to playing a really cool solo. And he was smiling as he did it. And it was just like, it hit me like, I want to be able to do that. Be relaxed and then just bam, right? It was just total magic. And then, I exposed myself to all kinds of stuff, listened to music as I usually did. But then I didn't get massively inspired by that until I saw Paul Gilbert's first instructional video. I just went crazy with inspiration. It just clicked in there. And you never know what does it. That's why you need to flood yourself with inspiration, right? You need to expose yourself to as many teachers as you possibly can, because you need to find the guy who inspires you. And that is so important. Well, most people look for the digital stuff, right? Well, what do I need to learn at this current level that I'm on, right? I'm at this level of my development. What is the next logical thing to focus on? From a mental perspective, from a logical perspective. But that's not what makes you a master. Your heart does, passion does, emotion does. And where does that come from? It doesn't come from trying to figure out what's the logical next step. You can do that forever. Now I'm 200 years old and I'm still taking the next logical step. But when I then take that step, I'm not 1,000% committed and focused on what I'm doing. And so I don't get the big results because my brain just goes, oh, let's focus on the next logical step. It doesn't go, yeah, baby, this is awesome, right? Just imagine, having my foot on the monitor. We don't use those anymore. Usually it's in-ear monitors, right? And then just bam, on stage, just playing that. Just if I could do just these 2 notes in that way, that bend perfectly as the audience is cheering me on and the smoke gets in my eyes and, stuff like that is happening in your mind because you believe you can do it suddenly because you got those strategies from those YouTube videos or that magazine or that guitarmastery.net program that you just bought, right? But I remember that I found out that there was such a place called America, right, when I was pretty young, from which Paul Gilbert came. And then I started just saying, okay, what can I get from that? And I started, receiving VHS tapes, those old clunk into a machine. And I just ate up everything they had, Al Di Meola, fusion artist, all kinds of stuff. I couldn't get enough of it. And then I went to the library and said, there's something called Guitar Player magazine, and there's something called Guitar World magazine. At that time, it was only Guitar Player, at least for my knowledge. And then I went and said, can you get all of those magazines for me, like back in time? And they could. So they just got several years of Guitar Player magazine, and I wasn't interested in any of the stuff in there. All I was interested in was the lessons in the back of it. So I went to the Xerox machine, and I Xeroxed every single lesson from every single magazine in jazz, blues, rock, metal, whatever I could get my hands on. And I had like a stack, stacks of paper with lessons, and I put them in folders and had them, and it was like, that was my focus basically. And doing all of that, like devouring all that information, just kept me incredibly inspired. So my next problem became, what should I practice? There's all this great thing, right? But that's a luxury problem instead of being, well, I guess I should practice more because people who master this instrument, they practice a lot, right? So what is this video really about? Well, it's about taking a step back and, going away from the shoulds and saying, I want to be inspired, massively inspired. How do I get that? When was I really inspired the last time? Just think about it. Did you go to a concert and go home and then you had these 2 weeks where you were practicing like an idiot, right? Like a crazy amount of practice time? Or did you read something in a guitar magazine? Or did you go, did you have a course that had a 30-day course? Or did you see a YouTube video with a special insight? What happened? Why did you get that inspired? And then seek it out like a hungry, starving, idea-seeking maniac, right? Because that's what makes everything else happen. And you know what? That's fun. It's really fun. It's not fun to say, I should practice more. I should be more passionate. It's just the weight on your shoulders. But when you focus on the real source of guitar mastery, which is massive amounts of inspiration, then suddenly it becomes easy. Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.